spokesman. Can you give me what I need? I'm looking for atonement. Who can lift me up my feet? Who can take me higher?
A con man stole a stone. This stone possessed unusual powers.
Can you give me what I need?
After stealing the stone, he then tried to con the world. Little did he know the stone would take an unexpected turn. During his journey, he finds the higher power and learns that everything that glitters ain't gold. Evangelist coming soon, summer of 2025.
I thought you were dead. Hold on, wait a minute. You're not B-Lo.
Nah, not dead, not B-Lo either. But brother Ray.
Man, fuck that, I'm back. I want what's mine.
B-Lo, where the fuck were you? Damn.
Yo, what the fuck do I pay you for? And you still don't know shit?
I got people all over this case. I will know something in a few hours. I got my best people handling it. I'm going to get to the bottom line of this.
You better!
Yeah, boss. I don't trust you.
Yeah, I need a rat. They gotta be exterminated ASAP.
Alright, give me like an hour or two. I'm heading your way.
B-Lo, where the fuck? Where the fuck you been at, boy? Everybody looking for you, boy.
24/7. You're listening to
BLDradio.com. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know what it is, man. It's your boy Karim Jamal, the livest director in the game. Your baby mama's favorite. We in the building, man. I got a couple of special guests. They're going to come on in, and we're going to talk about their new projects. You know what I mean? We got my man, Tedrick Jones in the building. Let's bring him on.
Yo.
What's
happening?
What's going on, my brother?
All right, cooling.
You cooling? You looking good there, boy, with all them colors on and all that.
Yeah, the crib.
People know who you are, man.
My name is Teddy Jones. You know what I'm saying? I'm an entrepreneur and mover and shaker from Miami, Florida. You know what I'm saying? By way of right there in the ATL, you know, stand up. And basically, I'm promoting the film, Put the Guns Down, and that is Terry C. Carney's written and executive produced with Ice-T. And thank you very much, brother. You know what I'm saying? I see you got to put up right there. So, long story short, you know, I'm a moving and shaking in the industry. You know, got many relationships. You know, been knowing Jamal and BLD Films for, you know, over 10 years now.
For a minute.
Yeah, man. So I'm currently located out here in Austin, Texas, you know, but original Florida City kid, you know, by way of A.L. Lewis, Camel Drive, you know what I'm saying, and Homestead Senior High. So I got my man Mike Tucker. He just about to come in from the Lay the Guns Down Foundation.
I'm
So,
here. I'm here. I'm here. I just got
all
my
right,
camera muted. I told you I was getting a haircut, so y'all got to excuse me. My
nah, that's
barber,
cool.
he had to go pray, so I'm just waiting. But I'm here, brother. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let the people know, man, who you are and what you do, man, and the reason we here this evening.
Absolutely. So my name is Mike Tuck. I'm the founder of an organization called Lay the Guns Down Now, out of Brooklyn, New York. I've been doing this work
Stand
for
up.
almost I've been doing this work for
Yes.
almost 20 years. Unfortunately, I got into this line of work back in 2005 when my oldest son was killed here in New York by a New York City police officer. And so I wanted to do something instead of them portraying me as another angry black father that lost a child, even though it wasn't his fault, to, police brutality. I wanted to educate people, but also uplift our brothers and sisters who had experienced the same thing that I have and that sort of tragedy. And so I founded the Lay the Guns Down Now Foundation. And over the last 20 years, I've worked with almost all of the elected officials in all five boroughs in New York. One of the most uh, important things that I was proud of is when Black Lives Matter was painted in New York. That was because we had sat down with former Mayor Bill de Blasio, and this was after George Floyd was killed, and he wanted to be able to put a task force together to come up with real solutions on how we could stop police brutality. But the whole world was going crazy. And so we was able to get that done to send that message to all of the families who had experienced that tragedy at the hands of police officers. I've worked with a lot of people. My man Tony Herbert, uh, very important community activist in Brooklyn, New York. I learned a lot of what I do from him. He took me under the wing and just showed me how to really engage with the community, with the people, try to, give them some sense of comfort because when a person, a parent loses a child, it just rips their heart out. And it's something that you never, ever forget. And a lot of people don't get over it. And so my man
Yes.
T. Jones, he introduced me to this project. Would put down the guns with my man Ice T and Terry Carney Sr. And I was happy to, be considered to be a part of it because this is something that's important. And the call of action here is that we need to do everything in our power to end gun violence, not tomorrow, today. As I tell people all the time when I speak, do what you can do about gun violence today so we don't have to worry about it tomorrow. There's so many families, not just here, but around the world that experience this tragedy every day. And so people, I'm asking you, anybody that can hear my voice, if you're on this podcast and you're listening, I'm asking you to tell a friend to please watch Put Down the Guns because it's important. You need to understand the magnitude of this documentary. Everybody that you are hearing from have lived it, been through it, and is trying to stop it. And it's very important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that
Um,
part, for real.
that's unfortunate, man. I have a cousin. His name is Jordan Bryant. He got killed in front of my mother's house. It's my mother's sister's daughter, and she lost her son to gun violence. She owns Live Lawyer app. So if you like
Wow.
need a lawyer, you can just say lawyer and it comes to your phone. She started that after her son was murdered. So this is something that hits home. So the movie Put the Guns Down. Let the people know what it's about and how what they should do to get it pretty much.
Well, as you got it displayed right here on the screen, you know, it's on every major platform. Apple TV, Peacock, Amazon Prime, Google TV. We're working on several more other major platforms, streaming platforms to get it on. Um, we want HBO Max to come on in, do a deal, talking to Tubi and get it to be a little bit more accessible, with our communities. So Terry C. Carney, he's based out of Los Angeles. Him and Ice T are like brothers from another. So he pulled Ice to be a part of the project. And this is a combination of 5 years that this project has made its debut May 7th. So we're a week into the debut, a little over a week into the debut, forgive me. So those are the platforms where it could be rented and bought. I would advise, people to go ahead and rent it if you can't buy the support, have watch parties, let your preteens, your young adults, to really screen this. It's mature language is, but it's a must see, you know, for the entire family. But we have to
Yes,
also,
sir.
say that, this is reality. This is the reality and the epidemic that we've been living in. There's more guns in the world than there are human beings. So,
And that's
you know,
crazy. You more accessible to get a gun than a library card nowadays, man. And
that part.
that's what's so crazy. And here in Atlanta, um, it's legal. It's you can have a gun. You don't need a permit. You don't need. You could walk down the street with the gun showing. The police
Yeah,
can't
same.
even
Yeah, that's the
ask you
same.
about the gun.
Yeah, that's the same out
Yeah,
here in
so it's
Texas.
it's like you have the right to bear arms. In a way, I think that's good because when everyone has a gun, it kind of calms the bull down. But in another way, irresponsible people that have guns, because it's not the guns that kill people, it's the people with the guns that kill people.
Right. Right.
So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're advocating in the movie that people, we're not saying, don't be a gun owner, you know, I'm a gun owner, but I'm a
Yes,
mature
sir.
gun owner. I'm a grown man, and
Yes, sir.
the youth we're advocating in this documentary film with all the individuals that's a part of it, Ice T, Terry C. Carney, who wrote and produced it, um, Mr. Freeway, Ricky Ross, countless others that have been involved with life, of what this country has become. And this is a redemption, you know, for
Yes,
for
sir.
them and also, just to police our own communities, to really
We have a
put
special
up.
guest. We had a special guest right now. We got Paulina Bryant in the building. She can identify with this topic. Uh,
Hello.
we were just talking about the Put the Guns Down movement and the Lay the Guns Down Foundation. We got the owner Mike Tucker in the building. But Paula, if you don't mind, tell them about your experience and your son and the things you went to with gun violence. Can you hear it? I mean, I can't hear you. Cut your
Okay,
mic
yeah.
on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is Paulina Bryan. I'm the CEO and founder of Live Lawyer App. Live Lawyer App is the app. If the police stop you, you push my app. A lawyer comes up via Skype or a FaceTime like feature. You get represented immediately. Then it's going to ping your selected contacts, letting them know where you're located, that you've been stopped. My phase 3 is going to be voice activation because what if the cop tell you can't touch your phone? You say Live Lawyer App. It automatically pops on. Everything gets saved to the cloud. I received my patent on July 2nd. Now, as for the gun violence part of it, my son was murdered back in 2016. We were having a cookout. I heard his friend scream his name, and I heard it wasn't pop, pop, pop. It was boom, boom, boom. So me and my husband start running, and we saw him in the. He had got out of the car and he started running, and we saw him in the driveway. I went over to him. The police said, "Get away! We don't know what a shooter is." I'm like, "Sir, this is my son. I don't know what you're talking about." So we turned him over. The police officers started doing chest compressions. and I start blowing in his mouth. He took his last breath in my mouth, and his spirit left his body and came back into mine. So this gun violence thing is dear to my heart. The bullets work as long as my finger, and my son only weighed 147 pounds. So I would love Mike to, maybe even connect with you, or just get some information,
I'm here,
just to
sis.
connect, because it's something dear to my heart.
I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm here. And that's why, to be able to get this platform, to speak about what we're doing, like I said, it's all of us working together to make sure that we save our community and our kids. As they said, kids are, our future. But how are they our future if they're dying at 14 and killing at 15? And
Right.
so we
That's
need
right.
to do whatever is possible to stop that. And that's why when I saw this film, when I got a chance to I looked at it 4 times back to back because it's so relevant. And to hear Freeway Rick Ross, and Ice T, and so many different rappers and former gang members talk about the impact of gun violence and how it has affected them and our community. And the reason that this is on point, on time, with everything that's going on right now in the United States of America, especially toward people that look like us, sound like us, we need to do everything in our power to stick together. And we can't be doing that if we're killing each other. And so this
Yes,
film
sir.
is, as I said, right on time. And, thank you for creating that app, because that saves a lot of people's life. Because a lot of times people don't get to have nobody know exactly what's going on, where they at, and who's doing what to them. And so whatever contact information, we'll touch base offline after this is over. But
That's fine.
yes, yes,
That's fine.
definitely. Like I
I,
said,
I
it's
mean,
important.
I have a lot of people backing me: Taraji P. Henson, Erica Badu, Kevin Durant, Pilar Sanders, Deion Sanders' ex-wife. I mean, so many people. I was with Joy Reid and Angela Rye the day before yesterday, and the Newark mayor. So it's tons. I've been to iHeartRadio. They said they could get me in front of 96 million people. So I've been traveling and working, and I'm just trying to get the word out, because this is I believe Live Lawyer app is something that people truly need, because everyone
Of
deserves to know
course.
their rights at the
Of,
time,
of
at
course.
any
Of
time.
course. Of course. I mean, once you watch the film, you know,
Okay.
we actually got 11 more segments that we're doing. This is the first segment that
Okay.
Ice T and Terry C. Carney started with. And
Uh-huh.
actually we had a Mike had a conversation with the mayor of New York earlier this evening.
Uh-huh.
So, they're actually watching it. And Mike is the liaison, on the New York, on the East Coast. I've been knowing Mike for years and, doing ventures together. So, sister, you right on time, and I'm sorry for your loss. I've been knowing Jamal is family to you, correct?
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Yes,
Used to
we
beat him
we
up when we
first
was
Okay.
little.
cousin.
No, I'm joking.
Okay. Yeah, so it's all family here, you know what I'm saying? And I'm enlisting all my family out of South Florida, out of Miami, Florida, where I'm from, but I'm currently residing here in Austin, Texas. Been here for the last 5 years. So, I'm being like the young Clarence Avant, God rest his soul, him and Miss Jackie, um, who I reverence, amongst others. But my family is, fully engulfed in the music world. So, my cousin is married in Trick Daddy Dollars. So, I wanted to utilize all my relationship, family ties, along with knowing Mr. Ross personally, helping him with his book. Let me grab it off my table here. You understand? I helped out, with Mr. Ross's book, and this is his autobiography. And
Yes, sir.
Got to know Mr. Freeway Ricky Ross personally. You know what I'm saying? We were actually moving moving his book. You know, he autographed all the copies for me. You know, we was moving them just like back in the day how he was moving the product. But
Yeah,
he
he a
has
good brother. I
since
got his number too.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Definitely
I
a
had a
good brother.
conversation with him earlier today, you know what I'm saying? And we could do an interview with him, you know, whenever it's time for that. So right now we're promoting the movie that he's a part of and also that Ice-T is the executive producer. So when that leg comes to New York, you know, Mike Tucker is the lead, you know, liaise on that, you know, to help promote it. But, you know, sister, we want to, you know, possibly see if we can get an interview with you, you know, or however Terry would like his vision to go for his brand, put the guns down and
Okay.
you know what
We
I'm
can
saying?
get together.
I could bring that to his attention, you know, also through our other partner, Mrs. Suave Churchill,
Mhm.
VP Churchill Apparel. So, you know, we're enlisting all sponsors. This is our community. You know, we all look alike. This is our family members. These
Right.
are people that we love, that we hold dear. You know, all this trauma, all that we've endured as a people in this country when it comes to gun violence. You know,
Hmm.
that it's gotten to an epidemic proportion that's out of control. So
Right.
this movie is helping us to police ourselves. You know, ain't nobody coming to save us. We got to save each other.
Say it
And
again.
you know, this is really what it is. You know,
Hmm.
I may look a little younger, but you know, I ain't that young. So, you know, I've had gun violence in my family countless times in Miami, you know what I'm saying? South Miami, Florida, you know, being from the Homestead, Florida City area.
Right.
So, you know, um, like I said, I met your cousin in Atlanta. You know, I had went to school in Atlanta, just stayed, you know, continue to network and meet people and work with people in different studios from Patchwork Studios, Woodrow Studios. Um, you know, got my boy, Wild Child, Jungle Boy, he's over with Grand Hustle, but he's straight from Goulds, Florida. And you know, but he works with T.I. them personally, you know, and like I say, my cousin Trick, you know, getting him more bookings, you know, so those relationships always intertwine and
Right.
cross. So
Right. Hmm.
when you're crossing and touching that many people, of course, you want to advocate for projects like this and just continue to put notoriety on shows like uh my brother Jamal, Kareem Jamal show, you know, the
Right.
BDL radio spy. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
my thing is cross pollinating everybody, you know, because it's going to take us
Yes,
all,
sir.
you know. So
So if they wanted to get the movie, how much is the movie and where should they go to get it? Where I know you said it's on all platforms, but where would you suggest them to go? Because you know some
it's not
people
on
don't
all
have
platforms. The platforms that it's on currently is Apple TV, um, it's on Peacock, it's
Peacock.
on
It's on
uh,
Prime.
it's on Amazon Prime
Okay, I got Prime.
and
I can
Google
watch it. Okay.
Yeah.
And Google TV. So, you know, it's
Okay.
$5, it's $4.99 to rent, you know,
Okay.
$14.99 to buy. So I
Okay.
would advise people, you know, rent it. If you can't buy it, you know, have a watch party, you know, sit your family down, sit your preteens, your young adults, college students, whoever you know that's been affected by gun violence or that is even thinking about getting out here in these streets that way. Watch this. You know,
Right.
it's gonna give you a picturesque view from a great narrator who is Ice T. You know what I'm saying? That's also starring in it to help you change
Yes,
your
sir.
attitude and help change your mind.
Ice T
It
is
don't get no
originally
big it
from
don't
Newark, New
yeah,
Jersey too,
exactly. And it don't
where
get
me
no
and
bigger than
Paulus
Mr.
was born at.
Yeah, it don't
Yeah.
get no bigger than Mr. 6 o'clock in the morning. You feel
Right.
me?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it don't get no bigger than Law and Order. That's you know, so you know, currently he's doing a lot of back shooting since the strike, you know,
Right.
catching up on a lot of work. So, you know, we out here beating this, you know, putting our boots to the ground. No intended to the song, but you know, shout out to the guy, you know, because he out there doing his thing, you know, all the
Right.
sisters talking about where they fans at, you know, but
Right.
now we want y'all to put them fans down click that, watch this TV with, this movie with your family. So
See,
Yeah.
I don't want to step away. I just want to say a few things. So, Brother Jamal was asking where and what. So, I'm asking people as a call to action. For one day. Not even one day. I'm asking you to bypass a drink, a $5 drink, or bypass a $5 bag,
yeah, yeah,
bypass something that you can go without to get something that's going to change your life. And that's what
that
this
part.
this documentary is about. One of the I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine from Atlanta, Nicole Telemon. And y'all might not know her, but her cousin is one of the biggest rappers in the game, Nicki Minaj. This is her cousin, her first cousin. So in 2000, it's been a while. Say maybe 2000 and like 16. Her cousin was killed here in Brooklyn, New York. And I got the pleasure to work with her family, do the candlelight visuals, do the prayer visual for about 5 or 6 years straight until they moved back to Atlanta. She was always from Atlanta, but her mom's was up here. And so, like I said, gun violence affects everybody. Everybody is affected by gun violence. And I tell people all the time, one death can affect 2,000 people.
Or
One
more.
death
Or
or more
more.
depending on how big the family is, how that person was received. But it affect it, and I just said 2,000, but we know because these people that are killed, our kids that are killed, have grew up in the community, so everybody knows them. And it's not just their family, as they say, extended family. And so
Yep.
it's important that, as I said, that we bring this to the forefront. As Brother T was saying, right now what we're working on is putting together a whole East Coast tour to make sure that people get to see it. It's not just, we're talking about colleges, we're talking about high schools, we're talking about going to prisons and talking to people and letting them understand the impact of gun violence, and not just gun violence, violence in general has on our people and what we
Exactly.
need to do. And as I said,
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
this project right here, this documentary is the actual truth. And as
I
I said,
wanna
if you look at it, you will understand why you hear the passion in my voice. I don't want nobody to
Right.
think I'm getting paid for this or nothing. I'm not getting a dime out of this. But
Yeah.
I want people to understand that listening to me and trusting my judgment, we're going to be able to save our families, save our communities, and have respect and love for one another.
Okay, because when my son passed away, he was like, I wanted to call him not the leader, but just the one with the that could talk kids into whatever, right?
Right.
Right.
Right when he died, so many people came to me afterwards, like, "Oh, he told me to go to air conditioning school, and I got this. He told me to go here and do this, and I did that." I was like so amazed because I didn't know. And one guy, the whole bunch of Spanish people pulled up in front of my house in landscaping trucks, and I told my husband, I was like, "Go outside. What do they want? What do they want?" They told me that my son used to hang out in front of the bodega with them and drink coffee and speak Spanish. I didn't even know my son knew Spanish. So you never know who you could connect with. And those
Right.
those kids came here the other day on Mother's Day and gave me flowers, everything. Those are the ones I want to promote the movie too. Because when my son died, they was in here crying, talking about we gonna get him, we gonna kill him. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because everybody wants to live, and everybody
Retaliated.
wants to have a checking account, a house, a
Right.
wife, car. You want to have kids. You want to have a dog. You understand what I'm saying? You can't
Right.
love my
Yes,
son more
sir.
than me. You cannot love my
Yeah.
son more than me.
That's
Right.
And
right.
And you know, Mike
Sweet
can
pea.
really relate. He can really relate because
yeah.
his son actually was killed by New York State police officers in 2005. Al Sharpton and Russell Simmons helped rally around him back in 2005. So,
Mm-hmm.
he started his foundation, the Lay the Guns Down Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I enlisted him as the New York liaison because not only of the name of his foundation, because it closely aligned with this project. And, you know, my relationships, not only with your cousin Jamal, is just as far back with Michael. You know what I'm saying? Because, pulling everybody together is a task in its own. And like you said, we're not getting paid for this.
Right.
This is a passion and a labor of love. And this is for our people
Right.
because we all look alike. When I walk out the door, you know, they see another black man.
Right.
It's scary for us as not only as men, but the queens that y'all are. My mother is actually in the next room. I moved my mother out here 3 years ago. You
There you
know,
go. Got to
and
keep mama close.
exactly that you only get one. And
Hey, thank you.
happy Mother's Day belated to yourself. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Because I've had family members to expire back home in Florida. Where they call it the gunshine state. You know where they pull out them yoppers. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? They pull out them sticks, how they call it.
Right. Right.
So it's really us policing ourselves. And I thank
Right.
God that Ice T and Terry, put this project together. You know what I'm saying? And the next 11 segments that's coming that will be going all over the nation, in different neighborhoods and different areas of major cities, you know what I'm saying, to replicate what
Right.
was shot out in Los Angeles.
Right.
So, you know, but knowing that Los Angeles has been the epicenter of gang culture,
Right.
of gun violence. These are some of the hype guys, you know what I'm saying, to get the
Right.
attentions and turn the necks and say, hey, yeah, we need to listen to what they saying because just like you said with your son, it takes a strong personality. It takes a
Right.
leader,
Right.
is just reallocating
Right.
the mind on and just really just causing it's like, hey, don't do that. We ain't about
Right.
that. I'm not
Right.
about that.
Right.
And if you care about me or you care about this,
Right.
as far as this pet project, then we moving this way. We not moving with picking up guns, retaliating, just because. So thank you, for being a strong mother. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
See,
Thank
one
you.
everything that you're doing with your app,
Right. Right.
because those are not small accomplishments,
Eh,
to get a patent, and get because I
Right.
understand because I got patent pending status. So just
Right.
from a king to a queen, thank
Right.
you, for your legacy and what you bring into the world.
And I also wanted to say I'm working with my other cousin in Essex County to get reentry for people coming out of prison. Essex County doesn't have that. I don't know why. We went to a meeting. It's going to start up again where they're going to try to have reentry programs like people coming out of jail and making sure they do the right thing. This might be a movie too that they might want to see, just to keep in their mind, like, okay, you've been to jail. Here you go, here
Right.
you need to stay out. And I met so many people that's doing programs like that. My life right now is crazy. I even
Mike, you
had
want to say something?
yeah, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
yeah.
Cause
Now I wanted to say something. As I was saying, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I can say one of the saddest projects that I had to work on is with the Bell Gardner Jr. Uh, family. This was an 18-month-old baby that was shot and killed in his stroller. His family, his mother was outside. Gang came through shooting and shot the baby and killed her. 18 months old. This baby ain't do nothing. And then after that, I was like, it really has to change. Now we killing babies and people need to understand the impact of that. This mother had to carry her baby to the hospital with a bullet in his chest and he died.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
and this the
That
world
is
we
crazy.
living in, and it's not just us. We have counterparts in this world. There's a segment in the movie that shows, the young man that had a fully automatic weapon, white guy,
Kyle
young.
Rittenhouse.
That's his name. Say it a little louder, Mike.
Kyle Rittenhouse. That was the young man that
Yeah.
killed after the George Floyd murder.
Right.
Yeah.
That was running around
So
with the AK shooting people.
and he got acquitted, because the Constitution protected his rights. But
Hmm.
let that have been one of us. They trying
Yep.
to put us up under the jail, give us football numbers, you know.
Exactly.
So it's a very unfair, disproportionate system that so many so many attorneys, so many lawmakers, that are really advocating to, dilute this system. And, with everything that's going on with the administration currently, you know, people trying to get up out of it. But of course, like I go back to the movie because that's what I'm promoting. I'm
Right.
not getting paid to promote. It's just how much I believe that art imitates life,
Right.
and when you watch this documentary and watch the segments that are coming and who can be involved in getting sponsorship, helping out this plight that has just almost decimated us as a people. You can really understand why I'm really pushing this and getting all my, not only my family in South Florida, from Trick to Ball Jeezy, Buster Free, you know what I'm saying, to up and coming artists, Ice Billion Bird. Um, a lot of these guys rapping about that, but I'm like, hey, you
Yeah.
know, there's
One of
nothing
those.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with your
Uh-huh.
art, but let's cut it back and let's get to these kids and get to this cause that can really help our community stop this gun violence. Because
Exactly.
back in the day, you get your ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? You you put them hands up.
Right.
You ain't going to grab no pistol and trying to retaliate. You
Right.
know, and you're not ducking and dodging bullets. You know what I'm saying? And kids and babies
Right.
are expiring because of your foolishness. You know,
Exactly.
so
Exactly. Because
we
I have another rapper, what's his name? Meek Mills. He wants to partner with me too.
okay.
So, and there's some other rappers too. I don't know all the
Yeah, I
rappers'
know.
names.
Yeah, I know me.
Yeah.
And my
So
family's work with his family, and
yeah.
Philadelphia Friday. Shout out to all the fellas, and
Right. So it's
you
a
know,
lot we could do
yeah, yeah.
together.
These people,
It's a lot.
these people I personally know. With
Uh-huh.
working with them in the studios and
Well, okay.
and partying with them, because like I say, my family, man, we Miami folks. We own strip, different venues down in South Florida. So everybody want to come to Miami. When they do, 9 times out of 10, my family is working with them in the studios, from Circle House Studio
Mm-hmm.
uh
Mm-hmm.
to the Hit Factory in Miami. Um, and their other personal studios doing pre-production. So just garnering those relationships,
Yeah.
and knowing Jamal, going to his screenings, for BDL films.
Mm-hmm.
I salute my brother because, he was like, hey man, y'all want to be on the spot, we promote the movie, and I'm the type to reciprocate that right back to him, with all my relationships as far as we go.
Good.
So I got to salute him because when I met Jamal 10 years ago, he was, he wanted to pull me in a movie. And I was like, all right, bro, that's cool, and I'm still with it, but I got to keep going forward, you know what I'm saying? So I can get not only these big bags for us, but
Mm-hmm.
to continue to nurture the other relationships I have amongst, even with him, because
Right.
he's being positioned, BDL Films is, I'm strategically trying to position them in other projects. So, it's all love. So, I don't oppose, and I
Yes,
know
sir.
Mike doesn't oppose.
We
If it's
appreciate your
helping,
love, man.
yeah, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's helping, and not causing damage, just like my homie Ice Billion Bird say, damage is done. You know what I'm saying? Just don't get in the
Right.
way of this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because all we trying to do is police ourselves, be good uncles, because I'm an uncle. I'm not a father yet, but
Uh-huh.
when I become a father, I could be the best father and be the best man in my community, you know what I'm saying? And have that lasting legacy because I care about my last name. I
Right.
care about my family. I'm a Whipple,
Right.
I'm a Assad, I'm a Ivy.
Right.
I'm a Robinson. So I'm aligned with the Young family through marriage. So
Mm-hmm.
you know that's why I enlisted all the names that I named. You know what I'm saying? Because them names go a long way in Miami-Dade County. You know what I'm saying? And throughout the
Right.
world. So
Right.
and went to school in Atlanta. I remember, when Meets them boys, the big black billboards was up. You know, got an opportunity to spend some time with Baby Blue. He was coming to parties that me and my dudes were shooting from the Art Institute of Atlanta out there in Sandy Springs, and I worked with Nick Taliaco's, of Atlantic Dream Cars Exchange. He had a situation that was right off of Piedmont, right next door to JD Cafe. You know, had Jeezy coming up there. I was hanging the posters of Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? When the Snowman first came out. No Kinky D, all them guys. So, you know, like I say, when I go to Grand Hustle, my homeboy, you know what I'm saying, from Ghouls, Wild Child Jungle Boy is over there with Grand Hustle. He the only Miami representative really solidified over there. So I'm screaming these names for the reason of cross pollination, and I'm enlisting these brothers to come on in with this movie. And
Mm-hmm.
y'all have watch parties because
Mm-hmm.
once you watch this film, you will really, really get a better picturesque view other than what we're saying. It's nothing like seeing to believe, and being a
Mm-hmm.
part of these platforms, that wasn't easy. Apple TV, they don't accept everybody's work.
Right.
Peacock, they don't accept everybody's work. So this is a launch pad to enlist all of us, what I'm saying, that has something of substance, that has something that wants to align themselves with greatness.
See, I want to make
Sir.
sure that I say something. So, one of the call to actions that I'm gonna ask everybody to do, and then brother Kareem, this is what I would like to do. I would like to, once I speak to them, uh, the director, producer, Terry, Carney Sr., as well as brother Mr. Suave, Mr. VP Churchill, to have them come on and talk about why they did this documentary with your audience. But what I'm asking everybody to do is let's set a record. Let's show people that we care about our communities. So I'm asking everybody on May 20th, to sit down, call somebody, post it. Y'all can get the flyer from Jamal, share it, and ask people to watch the film on May 20th. Let's show people, as I said, that we care about our community, we care about ourselves, we care about our family, and we want to make sure that people understand the impact of the epidemic of gun violence that's destroying our families and communities.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
sounds good.
I have
That
no
sounds
problem with that.
good.
And we could get them
That
on
sounds real
live
good.
whenever they're available. We could definitely set something up whenever they're available. We here 24/7, and also I will provide a link at the bottom of this podcast so they can go check out your movie definitely. And I'm gonna share it through multiple platforms like Blogger, Blogspot, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So you're gonna get anybody in Atlanta, southeastern region, gonna get this podcast tonight for real.
It's much needed, because we can't say enough. We're gonna let the movie, and the documentary speak for itself. And it's already won 51 awards. We won the Cannes Film Festival Award. We've won Sundance. Um, talking with the people from the Black Film Expo also, so the accolades for this film is already there. Of course, whoever else that wants to view the film and critique it, Atlanta Journal Constitutions, you know, individuals, if y'all know somebody, come on in, do an interview, just like Jamal from BDL Films, pulled us on. We're more than accessible and we're more than happy to sit down with you. I did this for my brother to give him the exclusive for the simple fact, I know Jamal personally and I
Yes,
believe in
sir.
BDL films. I'm a supporter of his films and all that he's doing. So with calling Michael Tucker and asking, my brother Michael from the Lay the Guns Down Foundation to be a part of this right now, it's a blessing because him enduring from 2005, losing his oldest child to gun violence by New York State police officers that's supposed to be protecting and serving our community there. You know, it's such a tragedy. Even when I'm speaking on it, he's reliving it. And
Yep.
I say that in the most sincere, sensitive plight because even Jamal's cousin here, she's
Yeah.
lost her son. That hurts. I've lost
Yeah, that's
cousins.
something
You
you
But
know,
never get over.
and a parent
never,
is never supposed to bury their child. That's
never.
what we believe in this world. We
Hmm.
believe in the great I am that said that I am. You
Right.
know that parted the Red Sea. And let the people go. You know what I'm saying? From that hole. So don't know what's coming
Right.
next. You don't. With what we're going through here in these United States. But
Yes, sir.
I reached out to my brothers in Ghana, reached out to my brothers in Kenya. They have the film. It's being promoted there. This is a global epidemic. And the reach
Global.
of our relationships reach that far. Like I said, Mike, he can speak on the conversation he had uh with the mayor of New York earlier this evening. Because he got that call. So these are the individuals that we are in concert with, that we are constantly building relationship and also just building this rolodex of individuals that can bring what they can to the table, that's going to be digested correctly and everybody can play on the playground, as cool as possible, you know.
Yeah, I have a group of
So
mommies too. I did a podcast back like in 2017. It's called Through Her Eyes. It's me and I rallied together some other mommies and we told our stories about the murders of our sons. So
Okay.
I'm gonna send it out to them too and all the other mommies I met in DC and things like that. So yeah, I can spread
So
the
if you
word.
was down in DC with some of the, I know you met some of the mothers that I work with here in Brooklyn. Strong enough, not another child. These
Yeah.
are some of the mothers, that
Mhm.
I work with organizations here in
Mhm.
Brooklyn. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, a lot of times we always see the mothers, and so that's why every time that I get a chance to speak and talk to them, I had one mother constantly, I used to always see her at prayer vigil. She was always at a prayer vigil. And because of her and her pain and what she was going through, I created a shirt in honor of her son's name. And it's not even her son's name, but just for all of those parents, as I say all the time, everybody don't have a celebrity or an elected official. Every story don't make the 6 o'clock news or is talked about online. And so
Right.
I created this shirt, and the name is "What About My Child?" Because everybody child's matters, you
Of
know.
course.
Exactly.
Of
And
course.
so
Exactly.
this was something that allowed me to do something to help them out, uh, and make sure. And every time, if I go to a press conference, if I'm having an event, I'm doing that. On June 20th in Brooklyn, partnering with the Brooklyn Borough President, the Brooklyn District Attorney. We did it last year. An organization that I partner with called the Song for Life. Shout out to Miss Hope Derry, Mr. Craig Derry, who was a very famous vocal coach who done trained everybody in the business, to put on this tribute concert. And it's called Hope Over Hate, Let the Music Mend. And we're doing it this June 20th, down at Borough Hall in the Promenade. That's the steps of the Brooklyn Borough President's office. It'll be promoted on Hot 97, Power 105. If you live in New York, you want to register. You don't just have to live in New York, you live in Jersey. If you got family here, tell them so we can celebrate your loved one.
yes,
Okay.
sir. So listen, we running out of time. I see you, Sweet Pea, too. I see you just listening. You ain't tuning in tonight. What's going on? But yeah, we running out of time. So what you want to leave, Paula or Mike Tucker? What y'all want to leave the people, man, before we sign off? Definitely all our
I
listeners.
want to leave,
Make sure y'all
as
go to
I said,
Amazon Prime and get this movie.
I want to leave the people with two things. One, as I said, don't forget May 20th. I'm looking for everybody to have those parties, to have those conversations. I'm going to be checking on social media to see who's sharing, who's talking about put down the guns, the documentary, and what they going to do to uplift their community, their family, and help save a life. Anybody that's looking to get in touch with me, have a conversation is easy. My email address is so easy. Lay the guns down at yahoo.com.
Lay the guns down at yahoo.com. Yes, sir. And I'm going to put that at the bottom of the link so the people will get it when the show goes off. If you're watching it this week, coming up, lay the guns down at yahoo.com. And offline, too, I'm gonna get you Paula's number, and maybe y'all could trade information off
Oh, absolutely.
off screen.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to working with her yesterday.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's coming. It's coming. I'm working with the students at NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, and they actually have done a lot for me. And it's coming. I just can't wait till it's done. I want to have it done by the summertime, and I want to leave people with if they are interested of knowing when it's going to be released, if they can go to my website at www.livelawyer.app.com and just leave your email address. I'm going to send out email blast when it's ready for everybody to log on or download to their phone, I should say.
Yes, sir. We appreciate the love. Yo, Teddy, man, it's always a pleasure, man, seeing you. Hearing from you, bro. I'm gonna be down there real soon in Texas, man. Come visit you. But yeah,
that's no
make
doubt.
sure
You
y'all
don't want
go
the
get
money.
this movie. I Can't Express It. Put the Guns Down, hosted by Ice-T. And when you get in touch with the director, we can do the same thing again, man. It's no problem.
I'm calling them as soon as I get off the phone with y'all. We're going to set this up, and your audience will be able to know how soon we're going to get this done.
Yeah, actually, I had a
Yes, sir.
conversation.
And for all our listeners, also, BLD Films. I'm a director myself. We have a premiere of our movie. It's coming up on the 31st.
Y'all go support my man.
Evangelist and Simpson Road 2. We premiering it at the Tarrant Theater here in Atlanta, and it's also going on Tubi. And if you want to check some of our previous works, you could go to Amazon Prime and watch some of our movie. Just put Karim Jamal to show you all my films. So
yeah, y'all support BDL Films
we
now.
signing off.
All right,
it's a pleasure. Put the
Always.
guns down.
Put the guns down. That is
okay. I'm gonna get the movie from Prime right now.
All right, sis.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good day. Good night.
Y'all as well. Y'all as well. We'll talk
Bye-bye.
soon. Sooner than later.
Peace.
Okay, cool.
All
Bye.
right. Everybody
Bye.
blessings.